Oh,
Holy fuck, that was nice.
What do you guys usually use for recording and stuff like that?
I'd have to ask Dave, mate. We just show up for the free food and the freaking banter.
That's all good. That's all good. I mean, I guess that's one good thing you guys have about how you record things is you're all there and stuff like that, whereas we're international, so we're trying to get time zones matching up and, that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah. It really helps because we just bounce off each other a lot better that way.
Oh, I bet.
And no connection issues, especially for the Canadians in our group. Their internet is always the ones that drop out.
So it's freaking moose.
Yeah. Oh, and then when we had Val on in the early days, so we got a New Zealand time zone, a German time zone, a Canadian, an East Canadian time zone, and then Garrison was in California at the time, so then you got a West American time zone, and then Ezra was a central one. It literally took us a minimum of 3 days during the week to try and figure out when we're recording that matches up with everyone.
Yeah, it would have been a freaking nightmare, mate.
It was. It was diabolical, and we're constantly going. We had a full-on spreadsheet that we all had access to, and we just had, okay, this day, just fill out what times of your day you're available, and then wherever green lines up with the majority of us, that's when we're going to do it. It was, God, it's giving me flashbacks. It was
such your own PTSD.
Well, speaking of recording, welcome to the Micro Machines podcast. This week we have a very special guest. However, before we introduce him, we're going to introduce the usual regulars. So, you have me, Callum, coming in from New Zealand, and I have a very good Max Green Beret IPA in my hand. Garrison?
Well, you got me, Garrison, out here in Kansas. I just woke up for my day, and I'm drinking a Voodoo Ranger IPA.
Very nice. And we have a special guest this week. Special guest, please introduce yourself.
G'day, guys. This is Ian from the On the Bench podcast.
That's that American football podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a bit of confusion when we told people, we got them from On the Bench. They're going, why are you getting a sporting podcast on? It's like, no, it's not that one.
You got the OGs on, mate.
Yeah, we've got one of the OG podcast on. Well, I keep saying we're the newer podcast. We're actually not anymore. We're coming into 2 years now, and
there's a few now.
Yeah. Who's the newest one? Model Insanity?
I think so, yeah, Model Insanity.
Yeah. But then there's a lot of talk about new podcasts coming up all the time, so more model podcasts, the better.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Well, it's been a long time. When we started, 2017, and there was none.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was right before the pandemic and all that.
Yeah.
A couple of years before that. That was before I even considered coming back into modelling. All right, so this week, Ian has graciously decided to come onto our podcast, and we're going to give him a little bit of an interview. And in the usual MMP way, we're going to throw him into the deep end and do things a little bit differently with our usual 10, 15, 8, 5, however many questions we want to ask, and go from there. So, you ready, Ian?
Fire away, guys.
All right, question 1. So who is Ian Keizers? What is
Ian Keizers? Well,
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, because you've been in the old modelling hobby for quite a while now.
Yeah, 48 years I've been modelling for.
Whoa.
Started off at the nice little bright age of 7 when I think I went over to a relative's place for the first time and saw this guy was an avid modeler, and that totally piqued my interest. Went out and bought my first model kit, built it, and from then on, I just snowballed. And I've been building ever since. Don't really have a favourite genre of kits. Basically, whatever takes my fancy at the time, be it naval, armour, aircraft, occasionally sci-fi, automotive. So quite enjoy the hobby. It's taken me around the world a few once, and go to as many shows as I can, and just try and support the hobby the best I can.
Oh, very cool. Because you haven't really had a break, unlike the sort of typical modelling story of we will start when we're 10, 5, whatever, and then life goes on, you have a break, and then you eventually come back to it, whereas you haven't really done that, have you?
No, I've just kept going. There's been times where I haven't touched the bench for about 6 months. But
okay.
All in all, I just keep coming back.
So how many models do you think you've built so far?
Oh, hundreds. Over 200.
Please don't tell me you have them all stored somewhere.
No. Probably about 20 years ago, I had a massive cleanup. And I think it was filled 2 standard household rubbish bins.
Wow.
Dead gum. That's a lot of models, man.
Yeah. No, I just had a look at them and going, yeah, I can do better now. I want to retire them. They're fucking a bit, making everything else look crappy in the cabinet.
All right, did you at least keep your very first one just so you can look back at it and go, that's where it started?
No, I didn't, stupidly enough. But I did, a few years ago, purchase the first kit I ever built.
Oh, yeah?
Which I will build in 2 years' time when it's my 50th anniversary of the hobby.
Ooh, that's cool. What is it?
It's the, where are we? It's a little Airfix 1/600 scale. I'll just grab it. It's, where are we? HMS Cossack.
Oh, cool.
In 1/600 scale. And when I look at it now, I go, yeah, it's a pretty crappy kit for its age.
Callum knows all about that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the very first ship I ever built was the 1/600 Airfix Bismarck. And, I mean, it's an alright kit if you know what you're doing. Except I don't. Half the superstructure on mine is built upside down.
Oh, no.
I only realised that when 2 of the guns that sit just in an alcove underneath it suddenly didn't fit. I'm going, hang on, but they're supposed to go into... Okay.
That's
way too long.
Oh, yeah.
that cement is cured way too much.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes there's just no going back.
Yeah. I mean, I was 10 when I built it.
Nah, that's excusable for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even really paint it except for painting the wooden deck, so, I mean... I did
remember, Callum, the aircraft are the wrong color.
I think it was a few years before I even decided to paint my kits. Before then, it was build them and just take them out the backyard and play with them.
Well, I tried to do that. I remember doing that with my very first one. I still have it. So I think it was an Airfix Hurricane. I only say I think it's an Airfix because my dad is British, so that's probably the only brand he knew. But yeah, I wanted to play with it. Boy, was I told I wasn't allowed to. And a lot of words.
A lot of colorful words, eh?
Oh, yeah. All right. So you've kind of half answered this question already, but we're going to ask it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite modeling subjects? Is there a subject you haven't tried yet and are curious about? I mean, being over how many years?
Actually,
48 years.
The only really subject I haven't really touched, to my knowledge, is real space.
Oh, yeah?
I've done sci-fi, I've done fantasy, Second World War, First World War, modern. Went through a stage where I did all modern aircraft. But Yeah, like I said, real space, but that's just one genre in modelling that hasn't really piqued my interest as yet.
Yeah.
At the moment now, my main interests are First World War armoured cars.
Good on
Ooh,
you.
yeah, me and
And
Callum with that one.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
We've already spoken about that.
and I'm pretty keen on doing as much as I can with the Pacific campaign.
Yes, my man.
That's it.
You're gonna love the next
The
rebuild.
unloved part of the hobby.
Oh, I know, right?
We literally discussed that the last episode too.
We
was
had
a
like
good
a
chat.
10-minute conversation about how it's underrepresented. Not in the aircraft. The aircraft side is the only one that actually does it somewhat justice. But ground and figures, just like
Yeah.
figures especially, you want to add figures to stuff, but there's just nothing there.
Yeah,
For
I
Pacific.
totally agree. And what you can get your hands on is so stupidly expensive.
Oh yeah,
Or just shit.
or shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
really old and yeah, like I was saying Japanese figures with the Japanese soldiers where they got the foliage on their back and all of that, and marine figures, you just can't find them
no,
anywhere.
no. I've been lucky. I've found a few here and there, but not half, not even a 20th of what you can get out there for the European campaign.
Which
I
is
really
odd.
wonder why that is the case. I mean, I know Tamiya is not going to do too much with it because it's Japan, but like why like TACOM or Masterbox or all those other places haven't really went and ran with it the little bit that they have.
I mean, because considering how much of, like, say, the US love scale modeling, and the Pacific War was an American, like the American War
Yep.
of World War II, you'd think there'd be way more like call for it. It'd be like something that should be very popular over in the States.
Yes.
No, Callum, Normandy.
Only if you're an army boy.
Hey, listen, I love Normandy as much as the next guy, but yeah, some Pacific stuff would be amazing.
So real space, that's more Dave's wheelhouse, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's Dave's wheelhouse. He's huge on the real space.
Yeah.
He's been collecting all the Horizon models, rocket ships, and
I'm going to have to ask him about those because I'm going to buy a couple. 'Cause my mum really loves space exploration, so that's my every gift to her at the moment is something I've built that's real space.
all right.
So I've been looking at those Horizon models. The only downside to space that I find, way too much white paint.
Yes,
And white paint
or
is
natural metal.
the white, like painting anything black and white and trying to like not overspray black or something like that is the worst thing in the world. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And also there's just not enough. There's not enough subjects. Same as Pacific War, just not enough.
No.
I would urge you though, give one a try.
Yeah, one day. Just not yet.
Well, we were talking about ships just before with that very first one you built and all of that, and we spoke about this one, the Fujimi Shukaku. Is that the one?
Yes.
Yep,
That's
got
it. The
got it right.
350 scale Shikaku.
Yes. So, question 3, and some people might gasp at this. You spent about 8 months, was it?
Yep, 8 months straight.
And how much did you spend on it?
Around 1,200 Aussie.
Oh, my wife would kill me.
Most of that was sent on the Fujimi aftermarket photo etch sets, which came in at about $60 a pop.
Oh,
Jesus.
And I think there was about 8 sets you could buy.
Bless your pocketbook.
bloody hell. So the main question for this one is, what was your experience building this model? How did you build it? What draws you to building ships? And also, how did you avoid being murdered by your wife when she found out the bill?
Well, to answer the last question, that's the pros of being single at the moment.
Uh-huh.
Hey.
So I could get away with it. The Shikaku, I found the kit, I think at a swap meet at a reasonable price. And I've always wanted to do a Japanese carrier. And so I picked that up, and then I thought, because they're pretty basic out of the box.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought, oh, well, I'll see what's available. And the only detail sets available were from Fujimi itself.
Which sounds like they just want to
Then
mark
was
up the
the
price.
hunt of going out and for over about a 6-month period of obtaining all the various photo etch sets and detail up sets that I could find. And once I had everything that I was happy with, including buying a ton of figures, either 3D printed or plastic injection, then the fun thing began. Then it was onto the build, and did a fair bit of research. One of the main things I found, which really surprised me, was the actual coloration of the Val dive bombers. Rather than being a grey, they were more a brown colour.
Really?
So you had to do some paint matching to get the correct shade of brown. Because I built it up as the first wave for the what was it? The Pearl Harbor attack.
Oh yeah, yep.
Heck yeah.
So I researched which aircraft. You won't be able to see it on the photos because it didn't come up, but a couple of aircraft had fails to start, so I've got those aircraft in there without their propellers running. Crew members scrambling all over them. And yeah, it's a big beast, and yeah, very happy with it.
Detail like that is just amazing, especially on smaller subjects. Like, I mean, I say smaller; it's a huge model, seems like, but like the little aircraft with the propellers not going, just that's so sweet.
Yeah, and I mean, you see in the photos here in the bottom right that teeny bitty little 20mm. Was that made up of like separate parts?
Yeah, I think there's about 6 or 7 parts in that.
Oh my god!
Oh god!
And but that's actually for me USS England build, that one.
Oh, okay. Which is still same scale.
Yep, 1/350. Yep.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think it was the triple AA mounts. That was probably about close to 20 pieces in those.
Bloody hell! How long would one of those take to build up?
First one about an hour, but then once you got the first one under the belt and you know what you're dealing with, I could usually knock one over in about 20 minutes.
Okay. So, what draws you into building ships? Because I've seen your collection of, say, submarines.
Yeah.
And you've built more submarines than I have models. What draws you towards that sort of subject?
The history of the, especially the Pacific War, the history of the ship battles and logistics and so forth has really drawn me into it. And as we discussed earlier, it's highly underrated. You just don't see many of these things built anymore.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's also something very appealing about a model ship that, say, a tank or an aircraft doesn't have, is the fact that, like, especially carriers, battleships, all of that, in real life, they're so incredibly massive. You know, the scale of them is almost incomprehensible. And then the ability to shrink it down so you can see it all in one and something like that, and stuff like that. There's something about it that just is, there's more appeal to that visually than, say, an aircraft or a tank.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
They, for some reason, I don't. Just the general public just gets drawn to ship models,
especially if they're on a water scene. There's just something that's just everyone gets drawn to it, no matter what.
It's fair. They're very satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's like it scratches an itch you didn't know you had.
Well, and also because a lot of shipbuilders are sort of, to everyone else who just builds tank or aircraft, there's a sort of like mythology around a shipbuilder. You know, just for a lot of people, it's like how do you build something that complex and to such a small scale, but something so large? You know, there's this sort of like, there's a mythos
a very
about
high
it.
level of respect as well.
Yeah. For me, it's mainly you just got to work on sub-assemblies. Everything's sub-assembly this, sub-assembly that, and you'll spend 6 months, and it'll just be bits everywhere. And then over the next final 2 months of the build, that's when I started to actually see the ship coming together. as I started adding bits to the hull.
It is way cool. Absolutely love it. All right, so question 4, and I guess we should probably mention this part. How did On the Bench start? What have you guys learned from running a podcast for so long? You guys are the original ones. So how did it all form, as it were? Every podcast has a backstory.
Yeah, well, back in 2017, I was chatting with Dave at a club meeting one day, and he's turned around, he's gone, you realise there's no scale modelling podcasts out there? I've gone, no, there has to be. He's gone, no. So we had a look, couldn't find anything, and then Dave turned around and says, why don't we do it? I've gone, oh, yeah, why not? We'll try it for a couple of goes. If people laugh at us and don't listen, well, we tried, and that was it, and started off, and like the first 10 episodes, I wouldn't even bother listening to because they're absolute garbage.
I know the feel. We know the feeling.
I was trying to get our feet in the water, but nowadays, because we all meet up in the same room. So Dave's got like a recording studio set up at his house, and you roll up in the morning and he cooks us a big continental breakfast. We have a big breakfast with a couple of cups of coffee, and so we're all jarvered up, and we go in there and just spend an hour and a half, 2 hours just bouncing off each other.
That's very cool. So, because you guys just started as you and Dave,
Yes.
and then eventually Julian turned
Yeah,
up.
Julian came in, and we haven't been able to get rid of him since.
How did Julian turn up?
Oh, I think we had a segment or something that he just popped in. We asked him to pop in for it, and he decided to, and absolutely loved it, and he's been with us ever since, and he's a true value member to the podcast.
He's also one hell of a car modeler as well.
Oh yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, I think we're planning on an episode on modeling cars, so I think I might see if he wants to jump in on that one.
Yeah,
he'd be quite good for that.
Yeah, he'd be probably pretty keen on that too.
So what have you learned about after running a podcast for so long, versus like with your modeling itself or with interacting with community, and like as you were saying before, you went to a convention and people recognized you. Like what was that like?
Yeah, that's weird. Like we're just three guys. Like we don't consider ourselves well known or anything. We're just three guys who love the hobby and love to talk about it and do interviews with people so we can inform the general public. And yeah, then we decided a couple of years ago to go to the Omaha Nationals in America. And yeah, it was quite weird. People asking me for autographs and wanting to take selfies, and yeah, this is just a whole new world for me.
But that was a bit strange.
Well, especially going from, say, like Australia to a different country and having people recognise you must be weird.
Oh, it was just bizarre. You couldn't walk 5 meters without someone going, "Oh, you those Aussies," and that's it. You're gone for the next hour just chatting to this one person. And it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Had the best time of my life.
Oh, that's so cool. Because I was listening to you guys after that and discussing that Omaha, and yeah, the minute I listened to you guys talk about it, I was just like, right, I've got to get myself over there and see for myself and all of that. I was planning on going this year, but finances not letting me.
Yeah, I know Dave's going this year.
Oh, that lucky bastard!
But I couldn't, like you. I just couldn't afford it this year. So maybe in the next year or two, I might pop around again, catch up with all our friends over there.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, the only trip I'm going to be making this year, model-wise, is to scale ACT in Canberra. So,
we'll meet you there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fun.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's a great show, the Canberra show.
And also, Canberra is just quite a nice place to be.
Yes,
from what I've heard,
it is. Yeah, it's quite good. Good eateries, some good museums.
Oh yeah, it's got the was it Australian
War Memorial?
Yep, that's the one.
Yep,
been dying to go there. I've seen a lot of good things about it, and I've also got quite a bit of family who lives in Canberra as well. So 2 birds, 1 stone sort of thing for me.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. And you got to try and get to the Mitchell Wing at Traylor. which is the it's like the storage facility for the Australian War Memorial.
Oh yeah.
And they've got over 70,000 different artefacts there.
Holy crap!
Whoa.
Yeah. You walk in there, it's like a couple of F-18 Hornets in storage and a
Callum, please get pictures.
Messerschmitt 262 and BF 109 G6, I think it was, the Frankenschmidt that they got there.
Oh yeah.
Still on its original paint jobs.
Oof. How the hell did Australia acquire all of that?
Don't worry about it.
If it wasn't nailed down, we took it home with us.
Winners get trophies, you hear?
That's it.
All right, so question 5, and this one should be a good one. So, seeing as you have been a modeler for much longer than us, quite a lot longer than us, what are, in your opinion, the best and worst changes you've seen in the hobby? Little spicy question for you.
Oh, best changes is basically nowadays the quality of kits is just next to nothing. You just got some brilliant companies out there, Tacom, Edward. We had Wingnut Wings, and now we got Katare. Tamiya's just really jumping crazy good stuff at the moment, which we didn't have when I first started. You had Matchbox, Airfix, Frog, early Monogram. And I've got to admit, the Monogram 48 scale kits still, in my opinion, are great kits. But they're showing their age.
Yeah.
Now we've got 3D printing. We've got paints, all different styles and types of paints you can use, whereas before then you had your Humbrol tins or Revell tins. You had stringy glue, which no one uses anymore.
Is that the old Humbrol poly?
Yeah, you take the cap off and you can run around the house and just have one big string following you around.
I still have the smell of that stuff embedded in my mind from when I was...
It never leaves, does it?
No. Oh, God, no.
See, if you stuck through all of that for the hobby, you know you love the hobby.
That's right.
You are a dedicated man.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember years ago doing my very first photo etch set, and that for me was a massive game changer. It's like, I can replace these bits that are really crappy detail and have something that looks semi like the real thing.
Yeah. Unless it's the stainless steel one. Or...
You don't get me started on Dragon photo etch. Garbage, in my opinion.
That was the only reason I didn't get that ME 163 or 162 for the 48 and 48. The minute you mentioned that photo etch, I've come across it and not happening.
No, you stay away from that stuff. It's garbage.
So, are there any parts that you've kind of gone of the hobby that you've kind of gone, not a fan of that?
The only really thing I've found in the hobby that I'm not a fan of is actually it's a new, because of the online now, everything's on the internet, is just idiots. Putting it plain and simple. Like you'll find someone who's an average builder, or it's their first or second kit, they put something online and there's always that one idiot who's just going to rag on them.
Yeah.
And that to me is just deadens the hobby a bit.
Yeah. Because I know Garrison gets quite a bit lately for some of his builds.
Oh yeah. We'll be able to take a look at one of them later during whips.
Yeah, and you do get those guys, and you usually find the guys who are the loudest about that are not very good modelers themselves.
Oh, you ask them to show what they've done, and they disappear.
Yeah, or you do a sneaky search through their stuff, and it's like, that's not painted. That's ooh. Yeah, I don't think you've got much to say, mate.
There's a big gluey fingerprint in the canopy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go back to your basement, Charlie.
Okay, so what do you think was the biggest change in modeling?
For me personally, it was discovering detail sets.
Oh yeah.
Where, as I said before, you could get you out of the kit box and just rebuild it. get a high level of detail, more accuracy.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
because like there has been a lot of leaps and bounds, like very recently as well within modeling. So it's almost unrecognizable since say you've started it. And there are the guys that try and cling on to the old way.
Yes.
Won't accept reality.
Yes, we all know one or two of those people.
I think a really good example of the whole like the model moving forward is if you take like Tamiya's German machine gun set from like the 70s and then you compare it to the one they just came out with. It's like you can't even compare them.
No,
the molding is just so beautifully done on the new ones.
Yeah. I mean, Tamiya really picked up their figure game.
Oh, have they ever?
They definitely have.
From like the 1970s kits where the figures are supposed to be 35th scale, but they look very cartoony.
Yes.
Very goofy.
Yeah, they look more like a toy soldier than a model. It's oof. and so you say about kits getting better, and Tamiya especially is known for the whole shake and bake and all of that. You still get the guys that are like, no, real modeling is you have to fix a model kit to make it right, and it's like, no, that I mean, I like to build vintage kits myself, and I know how bad some of them can be. I just roll with it. I'm just whatever, but I still like a kit that goes together well because that's what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Some of us have a life.
And like, I used to deal with the odd really crappy kit, but that's basically only if that was the only game in town.
Yeah.
No other company made that particular vehicle, and so you had to stick with it.
Yeah, it really depends on your definition of what is modeling, doesn't it? In a way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, a lot of people say modeling is changing the kit, fixing issues, scratch building to make it work and stuff like that. Whereas other people, it's the process of building it together. It goes well, and then you paint it, and you have a much more detailed representation of a model. It's very old versus new wave, we'll say.
Yes, yeah, old school and new school.
Yeah, like new school doesn't put up with errors in a kit because we're in the sort of technology age of it shouldn't be happening most of the time.
Well my way of thinking nowadays is I'm just too old to put up with that crap.
That as well.
There you go.
I look at it and go, why am I bothering with this when I can buy the same subject from a more modern company it's going to fit better, it's going to have better accuracy, and I'm going to enjoy the build a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so question 6. This is going to be a good one. So we have a segment on our podcast that we run occasionally. We call it Hill to Die On.
Right.
And this is when you have a hot take of your own of the model hobby, an opinion that you will plant your flag on. And we've done this a few times, and we get roasted for it, but that's the whole point of it. So, Ian, what is your model hobby hill to die on? What is one thing that you will be steadfast on?
Myself, with my own modelling, or what I believe should be a general.
Your general opinion on something within the modelling hobby.
Well, everyone has their own thing.
Yeah,
right? That's the one thing, and my thing to die on is people who gatekeep, and that is one thing that just gives me the irrits in the most major way. Like nowadays, you got the younger kids are getting into Gundam and all that sort of gear, and you get these old timers around my age, and they go, "Oh, that's just garbage. They're just playing with toys." No, they're building a model. Get over it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gundam kits are incredible.
Yeah,
the stuff Bandai do. I mean, how do you injection mold a part that's on a sprue that you clip it off and it bends? It's got a hinge in it. Like how does that work?
Yeah.
I still don't know.
No. And like, for example, Gundam's not my genre of building.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate the workmanship that people put in it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, especially when they repaint them and they've just got like all these different colors. And there's one thing that a lot of armor guys especially miss out on is painting with different colors.
Yeah.
You know, apart from Dunkelgelb, grey, green and brown.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Now you can go
don't forget
reds
card
and
tan.
purples and all sorts of crazy colours.
Well, that was... Yep, go Garrison.
I was just going to say the occasional United Nations build with the white.
I will never do that.
Very, very rare to see that done.
That's because it's like real space stuff. It's white is not your friend.
No, white and yellow.
Yeah. The two worst colors in the world.
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree, mate.
No, that's
but that's my thing to die on. Like, get rid of gatekeepers. Let everyone have their go.
absolutely. That is we support you on that hill. We will support you on that one because you do see it quite a bit, and it's like, okay, you want to build, you're building a model. You want, I don't know, people get this weird bug up them about if you're going to build something, it has to be absolutely 100% right. It's like, no, it doesn't. You can do whatever you want with it, but they just don't understand that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it comes down to what is your definition of modelling.
That's right, yeah. Like some people go crazy about getting the exact right shade. Like you see it all every day online, the big argument with the German grey. What is the right shade of German grey? Well, who freaking knows?
Who cares?
Exactly.
Well, I like to point out if someone's saying that argument, it's like, well, it depends on which factory it came out of, because they usually just used, especially late war, they kind of just used whatever they had.
That's right.
If it looked grey, that will do.
And when they were in the field, what they cut the paint with?
Whatever they have.
Diesel, petrol. Did they apply it with a gun? Did they apply it with a mop? Did they apply it with a rag?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing's one size fits all for every model. So
exactly, to me, it's whatever the builder is comfortable with.
Yeah,
if you're happy with what you've done, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all that matters.
Very true.
Okay, question 7. If you could have any subject or vehicle brought out as a model kit that hasn't been, what would it be, and whom would it be your brand preference for that kit? Could be anything in the world that isn't as a kit. What was one thing
I know
love?
exactly. One I've been harping on for the past few years. No one makes a 1/48 scale Japanese Jake float plane.
Really?
Nope. And they were talking about the most prevalent float plane the Japanese used during the Second World War, and you cannot buy a 48 scale kit of it.
That is...
It's really interesting. I'm surprised Tamiya hasn't jumped on that.
And for the brand, either Tamiya or Edward.
Let's see. I'm just having a look at. Oh, that's the Jake. It's like the sort of the Japanese version of the German Arado.
Correct. Yes.
Have you seen Rex's hangar? I think he did a video on the Jake.
Yeah, I may have. I may have. I watched a lot of videos of it. They all blend in after a few years.
Okay, so that's the one that you want brought out. What do you think is the most overrepresented vehicle in modelling?
Jeez, overrepresented. But then that's a funny thing, because the reason overrepresented is because people want them. They wouldn't be built. They wouldn't be manufacturing them if people didn't want them.
Yeah.
Like you always hear the thing, oh, not another 109, or not another Tiger tank, or not another Sherman. Well, they made tens of thousands of these things. Everyone loves building them. So when it comes to overrepresented, I really don't think there's anything. It's what the people want.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of people say. I mean, I'm on camp. We want more of the lesser known stuff, but at the same time, yeah, it's like you do need to update kits as well.
Oh, true.
You know, you can't have like a zillion Tigers but made from the 70s. So,
I know.
you know, especially if they're like the Tamiya 70s ones or something like that, you know, they're all right, but you know, so I do get you also need to update kits and all of that, and that's how people end up with stashes because they've bought a whole bunch of stuff years and years and years ago, and then the brand new one comes out. They're not going to build the old stuff.
No.
You know,
No,
so,
then they got the problem I come up with is I now got to offload about 12 kits. I can make room for the new branded stuff.
First world problems.
Yeah.
I know, right? Well, all you do is you offload all the old vintage stuff onto suckers like me who will happily build them.
Yeah. Like when Edward brings out the P40B/C, like I'll be offloading all my Airfix ones.
Well, there you go.
What was that? I think someone's just joined on the old Discord.
Oh, it's Clint.
Ah, it's Clint. Hang on. We'll get him in on the...
Yeah, Clint also works night shift, so our schedules are a little wonky.
That's why we can get the Americans on it this time. They're always awake.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey,
Yeah.
Clint. You're just a little bit late, but, you know, that's all fine.
I'm sorry about that. I had to clean out Bjorn's cage, the hedgehog, and he was took a little bit longer than I thought it would.
Oh, it happens, buddy.
Yeah, he made a good mess today.
Question 8.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about... so you're getting a little bit of background on our podcast regarding the Stug.
Right.
The old Stug 3. We're not a big fan of them. We don't...
Really?
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Except for Clint, but, you know, we all make mistakes.
And Don.
I don't hate them.
They're just a bit... Yeah. So... The Stug is a controversial, hated tank on this podcast. What are your thoughts on it, as a real-life vehicle or a model subject?
Well, I've actually built one.
I mean, who hasn't, to be honest?
Yes.
Or who hasn't got one in the stash? I mean, I'm a hypocrite because I've got one.
I honestly, I don't mind them. I don't mind the old Stug. I've always liked the Stug since the days of playing the old close combat computer game. We used to be able to field a Stug, and I always found that, that's a tough little vehicle. I'll have to build that one day.
I mean, yeah, I could get crucified. Some of them look good, some of them not so good. But we have this whole thing on our podcast of we did an episode Archer, you know, the British Archer tank destroyer versus the Stug, and that's when we had 8 people on arguing for about an hour over this.
Friendly arguing, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll
Slight disagreement.
Yeah, slight disagreement, and that was it only took me 12 hours to edit that.
But no, personally, I don't mind. I don't mind them as a subject. They're an interesting vehicle. They were well used. They made a fair few of them, and the general foot slogger in the German Wehrmacht, they absolutely loved them.
They definitely did get better. I mean, I still like the short. I will say I like the short barrel close support ones. I do like those. Those ones are the nicer ones. Yeah. Garrison or Clint, do you have anything else you want to ask Ian? And actually, I've got a question. When you are building, do you listen to stuff in the background? Are you like a video watcher, or are you like full dead silence, like full concentration?
Oh, no.
What's your style?
No. My neighbours usually complain when I start modelling.
Oh.
That's usually when the windows start shaking because I'm either blasting a bit of motorhead or something like that.
Oh, hell yeah.
I like it while I'm modelling.
They're just sitting there going, God, he's on the bench again.
Yep. Shut up.
Yep.
Yeah, usually good loud heavy metal, or occasionally I might even listen to a podcast or something on YouTube, not watching it, just turn the screen off and just listen. But no, I'm not one who can really do much modelling when it's just too quiet. Got to have some background noise.
Yeah.
Fill that.
All right. So, unless Garrison or Clint, you have anything else for Ian?
No, I'm good.
Sorry, I thought you was a football podcast when he first said you was going to have you on.
All good, mate. All good. Worse.
It's like, why the hell would we be doing something about American football? Who even watches that?
That sort of concludes the end of Ian's little interview segment.
Cool.
I hope he doesn't hate us too much.
No, it was all good. Went well.
So we are going to have a quick little intermission here, and then we're going to be back with hobby news and whips and all of that. And Ian's decided he's going to join us in for that, so he gets the full MMP experience. That poor bastard.
I'm so sorry.
All right,
it's all fun, mate. It's all fun.
All right, we will be back in just a moment. And we are back, and we, of course, after every intermission, we go into the good old hobby news. We find out just what all the good stuff is coming out. And this one, the next slide is not for Garrison, but it is for Clint.
Hey.
Oh, and they're 135th. Oh.
I ain't gonna lie, those look fucking good.
From Border Model in 35th scale, they are releasing a Stug 3, but it is the Stu 42 Alfs G, which is basically a Stug 3 with a 105mm cannon in it, and also an SD KFZ 251-1 Alfs D, which is why Clint is now currently changing his pants. We all know how much he loves it.
Both of them.
These are. Like them too. I think we need another intermission.
I will.
Now, are these also just Dragon reboxes, though?
I hope not.
Nah.
I know the DOS Work one is just a Dragon rebox.
Yeah, I think Border are their own stuff, aren't they? Don't do reboxing, do they?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I've already got 13 in me stash, so I don't need any more.
Stugs or 251s?
The 251s.
Nah, it's not enough. You need a few more.
There's like 22 different official variants and hundreds of unofficial.
You should hide your address because Clint will come out there and steal your kits.
It's a fair travel.
Worth it.
I mean, I'd say the main SDK, main 251 I want is the drilling one, the triple mount 15mm.
Yeah.
Those ones.
I've got the Dragon boxing of that one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my favourite's always the 22.
Where's the 22? Clint, which one's that?
See, I don't know off the top of my head.
So is that the one with the Pack 43 on it?
I think so.
Was it
the anti-tank one?
Yeah, with the long 75 barrel on it.
Yes.
Oh, that was the 21.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
it's the 20 something, but those ones 20. Are cool.
Yeah.
From Armour Hobby in 72nd scale, we are getting an F6C Mustang. The F6 is the French Mustang, so we have a very nice French livery on it. This is a new edition, and well, you can't really go wrong with Armour Hobby. I mean, they were runners up in the 2023 MMP brand of the year, so
it's a lovely kit.
It does look good.
I built the one a few years ago for the Musaru Cup.
Oh, the B variant, was it?
Yes.
Yes, that looked good.
It's a stunning kit. It really is. I think there's close to about 20 decals just for the interior.
Oh, Jesus!
Wow,
that was 72nd, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's got a cockpit. It's got a cockpit that will put most 148 and 32nd scale kits to shame.
Oh, bloody hell!
Jeez,
they're proud of that one. Shit.
Oh yeah.
I do remember you saying that it is a bit of a bastard to put together, though, if you don't follow the instructions exactly.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you've really got to follow the instructions to the T.
And I think that was every podcast that was making it. That was like, oh, yeah, we screwed up this bit.
Yeah. No, the only thing they could really do was basically fix up their wheels. I find the tire tread pattern on everyone that did the Moosaroo, it was off.
No, the rules for that year was you had to it had to be almost correct, wasn't it? No, yeah.
No aftermarket or anything. It had to be built out of the box.
It doesn't help when the out of the box has got a mistake in it.
Yeah, you got to sand down. Yeah, you have to sand down one whole side of the tread and then re-scribe it in so it matches.
Oh God!
Oh God!
Yeah.
Not
a fun job.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Oh God!
Sorry.
Yes, it was crazy.
Oh, that will while away about a day.
Oh, easy.
All right. Up next from Eddard, we have a BF 108 in 48 scale and a Spitfire Mark
9.
9. Thanks. 9C late version in 48 as well. These are both Profi packs. And I got to say, I want both of these, especially the BF 108.
It is a great little kit. I built that one probably 6-7 years ago.
So these will be re-releases. I take it with new tooling, new parts.
I've got the 9C in my collection.
Huh.
It's been out for a few years.
They must have added in new parts then. That's weird.
Mm.
And probably new decals.
Yeah, I mean the 108 I want primarily because we have one in Auckland that was flyable.
Oh, cool.
And so they always used it as a BF 109 in aerial battles at air shows and stuff like that. So
And that kit's got a great little engine in it too.
Yes, it does.
So I guess the main difference is they've turned them into Profi packs. I guess whatever that means.
Oh, Profi pack basically means you get photo etch, masks, occasionally a bit of resin.
I've also noticed just on that BF 108 box art, has that got a stencil of the African continent on the side of it?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, that is cool. I wonder is that available as a decal? Please tell me that is. If that is a cool.
I'd say probably yes.
All right. Thunder model, we got 3 of them.
Yeah.
First one, in 32nd scale, we have the US Tug... The Clark Tor 6. I think they've had a little spelling error. Not sure. But it is a heavy-duty airfield tractor in 32nd scale, which means that if you have a 32nd scale aircraft, you can make a diorama with it, and you won't have any scale issues, which is a very good idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also in 35th, they are bringing out a Heavy Wrecker Ward LaFrance Model 1000 Series 3, which kind of looks like a Scamel, but is sort of Heavy Wrecker Ward LaFrance. Haven't heard of that truck before, but it looks damn good.
Mm.
Looks like it's ready to tow.
Oh yeah. And in 35th scale as well, we have a long-range Desert Group F30 gun truck. This is the CMP F30s. This one comes with, I believe, if I've read this correct, it is a 37mm Bofors gun in the back, which I think I think Don is going to have a heart attack when he sees it.
Oh, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
When it comes to CMPs on the server, Don is the authority on it. He can't get enough of them, and when he sees the new CMPs coming out, like this one, he's going to freak. What is interesting, though, is the fact that they have, it's not a 2-pound or anything like that. It's a 37mm Bofors gun. That is not something that a lot of armies use. I don't know how they would have got their hands on one. But either way,
No idea, but I want this.
Oh yeah, I want this one as well. I know Nick Scale Armor. He's just got the other version of this, the other new one that just came out. So, very cool. And of course, it's in a Qantas scheme, so it's got me getting a little bit warm under the collar. So,
Yep.
Anyone ever build a Thunder model kit?
nope.
No. I've got one in the stash.
Oh, what have you
I
got?
haven't built it yet. I've got the Scammel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the recovery variant.
Oh, that's the best version.
It is such a cool looking vehicle.
Oh yeah.
Like, the big option is: am I going to build it out of box, or am I going to Mad Max it?
And also, are you going to build a tank for it to tow?
Probably not, because it's just a great looking subject on its own. It's just so chunky looking.
Oh yeah, they are so cool. Okay, up next from War Slug, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a weird name.
War Slug.
War Slug. Where do you come up with that?
It looks very AFV club, the boxing, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
From
You're a Bronco.
From War Slug in 35th scale, we have a T-34-85 medium tank, spring 1945, number 183 factory, full interior kit.
Oh! Sorry, I got excited.
You good?
I want that.
You good there?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
This kit will include a metal gun barrel, metal bullets. I'm probably meaning they're probably thinking shells. Photo etch and clear parts, workable track, workable suspension, 3D print parts, resin parts, magnetic parts, and a workable gun. That part confuses me. Workable gun.
Probably workable recoil.
You'd hope so. This kit will also
comes with a license to own a tank.
This kit will also include a T-34 book included, which is a nice little touch. I like that.
Dude.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Talk about setting a standard. Jesus.
Yeah, definitely.
That is really cool. The only thing, it is a full interior, which, the concept of a full interior tank is nice. It's just one little issue with that. Tanks are designed so you can't see into them.
Exactly.
The only way you can display it is to have it all taken apart. So it's kind of like, what's the point?
It could be cool to have it where part of it got blown up or something, so you can actually see on the inside, or there's crew coming out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you'd have it as a diorama where they've taken the turret off and it's suspended on a crane or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. But other than that, most people don't really do that with tanks anyway, so it's kind of adding in a lot
I kind of did that with my King Tiger. I cut one side of it out so you could see inside of it. I also cut one side of the turret out so you could see all the interior in it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I'd say the only reason you'd ever build an interior is just for the fun of building the interior. It's that whole thing of
my Weasel.
It's like it's there,
exactly,
and that's enough.
Yes.
But yeah, War Slug, never heard of them before, but for what they're providing, I'll be happy with one. Even if it is T-34, I'll take it.
There's so many things you can do with the T-34 too. So many things.
I'd be tempted to make mine, if I had one, make it a Korean War.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone goes Berlin or something like that. No, I want a Korean War one with a nice hole going right from the front all the way through the back, through the engine coming out the other side, just like what the Pershings would do to them.
I'm about to say, you got to get a Pershing to go with it.
Yeah. Did you know that would happen, Ian?
Yes, yeah. The Pershings totally outgunned those.
Yeah. Well, there was a story. Garrison did a Pershing episode. And they put 3 rounds that went right through the front of the tank, through the engine block, out the other side. But the tank kept rolling, and they thought they hadn't knocked it out. So they kept pumping more and more rounds in, and then eventually realized, it's just punching through the entire tank.
Imagine your armor in your tank is so superior, it just goes right through the others. So superior, it becomes almost obsolete.
But also, could you imagine what the inside would look after 3 90mm rounds have gone through it?
Oh, fuck, imagine the poor bastards on the inside who are still alive. They've just got these chunks of...
I don't think they would have been alive with the overpressure.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
The overpressure would have killed them.
Yeah, there'd be definitely would have been hosing that one out.
Ooh.
Hey,
Don't worry.
look, there's his eye.
It's like, don't worry about it. It's buffable. Don't worry. We'll buff out.
That's it.
Get the new guy in here. He's got some work to do.
Fresh coat of interior colour, we'll be right.
Why are all the other tanks white and this one's like a pink color? Don't worry about it.
Except you'd probably be disqualified in any judging for that one. They don't really like that kind of stuff, do they?
Oh, no.
Oh, probably not.
Which is like, well, you're doing a representation of a war diorama. There's going to be a little bit of ick.
They're gonna hate that Ukraine diorama I'm working on. They're gonna probably kick me out.
Speaking of Ukraine, from ClearProp, they are bringing out in 72nd scale a ZIS-5V truck.
Ooh!
The sort of Soviet general purpose truck from World War II. They look very Soviet.
World War II, yeah.
Like that. Yeah, it's just if you didn't say if this was unlabeled and you showed someone, you would say that's from Soviet Russia just from the looks.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, ClearProp are extremely good kits. Is that right? Has anyone built one?
Not yet. There's a couple of kits I wouldn't mind getting, some of their Japanese aircraft. I've heard a lot of good things of them.
I'll tell you one thing, your love of Japanese aircraft, if Dennis was here, we wouldn't be able to get you two to shut up.
Five.
Dennis is our resident Japanese aircraft guy.
Ah, right, yep.
But yeah, truck. Apparently, this is labeled an advanced kit as well. So I shudder to think what an advanced 72nd scale kit is. I mean, I've only just dealt with that Musaru Cup Ural 4320 in 72nd scale, and I don't like 72nd scale armor. I really don't.
Too small.
It's too small. Like I broke the drive shaft. It's still broken. Every time I try and glue it, you know, you got the dual wheel axle at the back, and you got to connect.
Mm-hmm.
I keep breaking it, and I'm pretty sure it is still broken, and I just gave up after a while because no amount of super glue would keep it together, and it was just from general handling, and the plastic. It's ironically. That kit has the best ground base I've ever made in my life, so I can't be too annoyed with it. But
I guess I forgot that was 172nd scale you was working on.
It was a bit of a letdown considering the other years of Musaru Cup builds. You know, not to throw shade on them. I know that they do a great service, and the competition is really cool, and they do it out of the kindness of their hearts and all of that. But
yeah, well, considering it started off as a joke between us and the Canadians.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah. Well, they challenged me to build a Gundam kit.
Uh-huh.
So I challenged them to build an American muscle car.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did it, and then the following year, I think Hamilton Hobbies got on board in Canada, and then we invited a few more podcasts, and now look at it, it's going great guns.
Yeah, I was quite surprised we got an invite to it.
Everyone gets an invite.
Yeah. Of course, we're certainly going, right, so we've got this competition. Who's going to do it first? And I know Garrison and Dennis immediately found an excuse not to.
Yeah, I'm not a 70-second guy either.
Well, you didn't even know what it was going to be. You don't know what it is.
Not until the date.
It is fun though to speculate. It is fun to go. Well, this year they did. Last year they did this. The year before they just like James Skiffins. He was thinking it might be a ship or something like that, which I really wish it was now.
Yeah, shit. Well, Julian's really got to pull his finger out because I don't even think he's got his finished yet.
Hasn't he? He's got. How long have we got? Like 3 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks, yeah, something like that.
All I've got to do is my submission photos, but because it's unedited photos, I suck at photos.
Oh yeah, same me.
It's I need editing just to hide things. So there's a reason I don't let people within a meter of my actual builds. They go, oh, they look really good in the photos. It's like, yeah, they're going to stay that way.
Why you keep them in a cabinet so people can't get too close.
I just don't. I
Exactly.
just don't invite people around to my house. That's even better.
There's an idea.
Problem solved.
Okay, up next we've got another border model. This one, we have a A6M20 in 35th scale, full interior with engine kit, stress skin details, 3 marking choices, and of course they released their 35th scale Kate torpedo bomber with an aircraft carrier superstructure. It's the same, they're doing the same, it's the Akagi, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Well, they're releasing the Akagi again, but this time with the Zero. This is a flight deck with the Zero, everything, but they're releasing the Zero as a separate kit as well, which I'm all for. Seems to be a big push towards 35th scale aircraft now, which
Well, it's only mainly them, isn't it?
yeah, I think they're trying to make it work with just trying to standardize it a bit better because you've got 35th scale armor and figures. Well, then if you want to do, say, an aircraft diorama, well, then you've got to make figures at slightly different scales, 32 and 35. If you look at them from a distance, they'll look the same, but if you put one side by side, it's noticeable enough.
Yes.
So I think one of their things is they might just be pushing just so you can have that, make life a little bit easier on people, but also so you can make those sort of dioramas of 35th scale aircraft with a 35th scale figure, vehicle, all of that. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So, yeah, and then I'd love to try one of these as well. Actually, that's the other thing I was going to say. I'm loving the fact that they're doing just a section of a large scale thing like a carrier superstructure.
Yes.
I think that's one thing that a few companies might want to look into is just getting something that, like say, TACOM were doing with their ship turrets and stuff like that, getting something, just exploding it into a slightly bigger so you can get hyper detail it and make it look cool, but not having to build the other 5 meters worth of aircraft carrier. Something that, say, the Bofors octuple pom-pom that the British have, something like that in 35th scale would be amazing. I'd love to have that. Or even, say, they've done turrets of ships. Well, what about turrets of aircraft? Because those can be very complicated and detailed things. You get, say, the dorsal turret of an aircraft from a bomber, or the American ball turret, or something like that, and you can like enlarge the scale and hyper detail it. I think something like that would be really cool.
Yeah, I fully agree.
I said Edward used to make, I think it was 1/16 scale, or maybe it was larger than that. Or no, it was 1/6 scale instrument panels.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Eshy, remember Eshy used to do the F-104 and the F-16 cockpit.
Oh, that is awesome. I need to find that. That is cool. But I think that's one way that model companies can pivot and still keep things interesting.
Well, one of the ones I found really ridiculous, in my opinion, was the companies that were bringing out like a single tank track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
Really? Why?
Or there was a company in Japan that were doing 1-to-1 scale, like 88 millimeter shells and rounds, which, okay, I will admit I did look into buying one. Only with shipping, it would have cost me about $100, and no. Plus, something that size probably would have been the same amount in paint to paint it. I mean, an 88 shell is quite large,
and to actually get it painted well enough that it doesn't look like a model kit. Because of that scale, you want it to make it look as real as possible.
Yeah, that's just going to be a ship fight. Put it easily.
Yeah.
Try to make plastic actually look like brass in that scale or steel.
Oh.
Yeah. Good luck.
At that point, it would be easy and cheaper just to get a piece of brass tubing and just mill it.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, definitely.
All right. Up next, from the large scale to the small scale, from Trumpeter, we have an M1134 Striker anti-tank guided missile system in
Fuck
72nd scale, as well as an A6E Intruder in 72nd scale as well. Both of these I am very happy about, although the Intruder even more, just because the Intruder is a very, 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 very cool aircraft.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But the Striker it has a lot of detail in them for 72nd scale, which still won't get me to build it, but it's nice. But yeah, I'm not sure how good trumpeter aircraft are. I've only built one trumpeter kit in my life. It was alright.
Yeah, it depends. Depends if it was their A, B, or C team that done it.
Oh, do they have that?
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, you don't want a kit done by their C team.
And
Shocking.
let me guess, they don't tell you.
No,
You
no,
find
yeah.
you find out.
You
some
only
way.
find out halfway through the build.
You get what you get.
Exactly.
Because I built their VK 30.01H prototype heavy tank. That was a really good kit actually. And then I've also got their SU-152 early version, and that's got stuff like a metal gun barrel and stuff like that. So it must be
Oh,
good.
sweet. So I got a BR-52 locomotive in the stash that I've just been staring at for years now. Only trumpeter kit.
Okay, and lastly, from Hobby Boss. On the left here, this one is for Garrison. We have a German Panzerträgerwagen, whatever, in 72nd scale, and is basically a train transport truck, and it comes with a Panzer 38T. Garrison.
Yeah, I'm just kind of contemplating how the fuck that 38T is like sitting inside of the little train carrier. Like I'm looking at it, it looks like a Higgins boat, but on a train track.
It pretty much is.
A bit, yeah.
So that's in 72nd scale. I thought the 38T part would get Garrison going, knowing how much he loves those.
I'm just too confused. My mind right now is trying to. Yeah.
Well, that didn't take much. And also in 35th scale, we have a Chinese Army Type 15 light tank.
Take my money.
Do you want it? Actually looks very good. And also, so the German Panzerträgerwagen, goddamn German, will be retailing for about 63 USD, and the Chinese Army Type 15 light tank will be retailing at about 115 bald eagles.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, that's a lot
Take
of
my money. Take it.
They're proud of that one.
Yeah, that is that is a lot of money. I mean, it is. I was looking at the sprues and all that. It is a very highly detailed kit, but 115.
Hobby Boss though, 115.
I mean, how good is Hobby Boss for their armor?
Pretty average.
Yeah.
I built their Pershing, and it wasn't a bad kit in my opinion. Went together well.
Okay, so I've heard a lot of bad things about aircraft and ships. Like their ships are like trumpeter ones, but less detailed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, I mean, it did raise my suspicions when I saw a USS Arizona in 1/350th scale, and it was retailing for about $20.
Oh.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's not popular, is it?
Yeah. I'll be definitely having second thoughts if it was that cheap.
Yeah.
What's the quality going to be like?
It's like, well, it looks like a boat.
Yeah.
It's like the 222 I'm working on right now. It's a Hobby Boss, and just found out that it's actually the rebox of the old TriStar kit.
Oh.
Which was an excellent kit for the time, and really still is. Still better than the Tamiya.
Really?
I just find TriStar very over-engineered.
over-engineered for what the...
Great little kit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I've got was it a? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was. It's a Marta, and the gearbox at the front must have about 30 pieces.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
That's
it's
putting
insane.
Dragon to shame.
Yeah,
That is.
and it's not like a hull. Everything's like walls. You got to build up.
Oh,
and,
no.
Mhm.
Oh, God,
Oh,
no.
that's the worst.
yeah,
That was like the chassis on the 222. It's probably 30 to 35 pieces, and everything has to fit precise, or it's going to be out of alignment.
exactly.
And it's like in the end, it's like no one's actually going to be able to see this if it's on the ground.
It's true.
Trying to find
Very true.
shortcuts and shit to get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so that is all we've got for hobby news. Just a short one. Now we're going to get onto the section, the good old works in progress. And we are starting, as usual, with Garrison. My
Hello.
voice went a bit weird there for a second. So I'm going to shut up for a bit and let you talk for a while.
All right, so I got 2 slides. The first one, I just completed my entry into the North Africa campaign group build for our podcast. This is the British 8th Army towards the end of the North Africa campaign. I got the Tamiya Universal Carrier, used the Reich running gear and track set, and did some scratch building on it. Kit bashed some figures, and just made a little base. And for the most part, it was fun. Towards the end there, I was getting a little antsy, really, really ready to be done with it because I hate the desert, and I just really wanted to start on this STRV. But I'm glad I took my time with it, and that's that.
Hang on, I've just got to find... someone wrote a very nice review on this. One moment.
What?
Here it is. When you posted it on Facebook, top comment. The author of the sheet of armor, it glues evenly, and if you can't do it, you plaster it and not mark it with rags.
Yeah, so if you look closely, thank you for reminding me because I totally forgot about that. The bottom
waiting
right
for it.
picture there, where you got the SMLE up against the back of the Universal Carrier, there's a tarp, a brown tarp kind of flowing in the wind, and just below that, there's like just a little segment where it didn't get filled all the way. And it's like so itty bitty. And out of the like 80 pictures I posted to Facebook, this guy finds that picture and commented that. And then the dude, he doesn't post in the group. I'm the only one he's recently commented on. And I looked at his Facebook page and his models, not to be that guy, but he ragged on my shit. Respect goes both ways. His shit looks like a 5-year-old painted it. So,
Definitely.
Well,
yeah.
That's usually the case with those guys.
Yeah. Well, and also
for sure.
something like that, like because the Universal Carrier is bolted on plates, and there are photos where you see joins like that do start getting gaps where the bolts and stuff start getting loose.
See,
they're not-
it's accurate.
They're not sealed. They're not welded or anything. They're bolted on.
No.
They start getting a bit loose, and they start making gaps. But that's why, they're bolted. That's what happens.
Yep.
It's a moving object.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I also like to point out, Garrison did paint one of these figures, and he does look like a hybrid of Charlie Chaplin and Hitler. I noticed that that's the one. You did have a photo of it, and that's the one that's not on here. Just like to point that out.
The Eugene
I thought he
Sledge
looks
one?
more like Eugene Sledge.
Yeah. It's that spinner guy there with the Sten gun and the cigarette in his mouth.
He looks like Hitler.
Yeah, more like Eugene.
I didn't know he went undercover.
How about the corporal with the mustache?
It's like he talks a bit funny.
And then right now I've been working on since yesterday started the STRV by Trumpeter. Really fun little kit so far. I'm about halfway done with it being built. Then I got this wooden base, which I did a mock-up of what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little Swedish village that's been absolutely destroyed by artillery. It's going to be like a little cafe and storefront with like an apartment on top of the store. So it's going to be fairly destroyed with a little trench running through the buildings. And the STRV is going to be going by with a Russian conscript anti-tank team sitting inside the trench waiting for the STRV to leave.
Cool.
And how's your other your Ukraine dio going?
I'm waiting for that one guy, the guy who made the bottom. He's a captain in the Air Force, so he's quite busy at the moment between moving and flying to, like, I don't know, fucking Africa and Japan in like 3 days. Uh, so at the moment, I'm just waiting until I can get the top piece covered, or the top piece for the base, because I don't want to start on the base and then you have to drive like 30 miles to his house in the bed of my truck and the base get ruined. So as of right now, I have everything on hold until I can get that top piece done. But once the top piece is done, I'll finish whatever project I'm working on and start back on the Ukraine dio.
Oh yeah, because how big is the space again?
It's 3.5 feet by 2 feet.
Jeez.
That's right. Yeah, Garrison's
Oh,
doing.
actually, yeah. Let me take a picture of it real quick because it's fairly freaking large. And I've already done a BMP2 and a Humvee, as well as a couple figures for it.
How many figures were you doing in total? Like 40?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Jesus, you might be finished by next year.
Well,
Lucky.
if I can actually get the base done, or the top cover for the base, the base itself might take me maybe, I don't know, 2-3 weeks to do, because it's a fucking tree line with fields on opposite sides and trenches that's obliterated by artillery. Like it won't be too difficult. It's fairly straightforward terrain to do. It's just getting all of the figures done, which honestly won't be bad because a lot of the guys I'm doing are multi-cam or that Ukrainian camouflage, so not too terrible. But I sent a picture in a podcast planning of the base right now with the box of figures and the couple vehicles there.
Okay.
Very cool. It's definitely
It's
gonna.
gonna take you.
You bring a 3-foot base to a model show, you're definitely going to get some attention on it.
Oh, for sure. And then they're gonna look closer and see like there's a dude being carried off without a leg, and there's dead guys. Like,
Yeah, and then you'll be disqualified immediately.
then I'll have a rant. Clint will see me have a rant about fucking the reality of war and how it's sad to hide it. But, then I'll be drunk.
It's definitely taken you a lot longer than the 3 days that this war it's actually took.
I know, right?
All right. I'm up next. So this is my
Yes.
current build, my 1-700 Tamiya USS Hornet. I've just realized I'm doing a lot of Pacific War themed lately because I got this, which is, of course, I'm doing the Doolittle raid with the B-25s. Then we'll be starting on the next group build, which is spoiler, but we'll get into that a bit later on, maybe in a different episode. I'm just making a lot of Pacific War themed stuff right now, which I don't mind at all.
Is a good thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, Callum.
Yo.
The aircraft are the wrong color.
Go sit on a cactus.
I'm in Kansas, bitch. No longer in Cali. Can't do that.
I don't know. I mean, it looks olive drab to me.
I've already had comments online of, it's like, yeah, it's the wrong shade. It's like, no kidding, it's bare plastic. But
Oh,
yeah, I was just giving him shit from the comments the other day. Earlier.
I immediately had someone messaging me on Instagram, like he was writing paragraphs of what color blue, because they blue varnish the tops of the decks and what it should be and all of that. And I pointed out, yeah, it's just bare plastic. And he just went, yeah. That's why I'm just like, telling this you now. to you now, it's like, great.
It's like, guess
Never
what? You
asked.
fuckwit. I don't care. Yeah.
So you jumped the gun on that one because whatever. But I mean, he sent a lot of cool stuff through, so I won't begrudge him too much. I mean, it was pretty cool. But so yeah, my 1-700 ship. I am on the 1-700 ship train right now. I'm loving them.
Choo-choo.
And yes, I'm going to start priming and painting all of this soon, and it's going to be a YouTube video. So yeah, it's going really well. Although I did lose one of the anchors. That just, I don't know where that went. It dropped onto the desk, and it just disappeared. I've searched
You
every.
got a 3D printer?
I'm not going to 3D print a 1-700 anchor. It is way too small, and also I've got to replace the bottom of the vat film. Was it FEP?
Yeah, the FEP.
Yeah, I got to replace that because mine's knackered. So yeah, no. I'm just gonna do photographs where it just you can't see it. And also we were talking about the Musaru Cup just before. So this is my finished one.
Nice.
Very nice.
So yeah, ironically, this is the best base I've ever made, and it's on a scale I don't like, on a subject I don't like, on a kit I don't like.
Bam, bam, bam. It's
So-
back to back.
So what this is a Horizon Island Defense Force inspired Ural 4320. I've attached a 1939 61K 37mm anti-aircraft cannon on the back, and yes, and it's got a recognition flag on the top and all of that. So for Ian, when I say Horizon Island Defense Force, it's it's a world that we've built within the podcast based on a video game, but it's the sort of
Right.
third world Pacific Island nation who just use surplus stuff of whatever they could get from other countries, and they kind of just rig it together, and it's not in the best condition, but it works, and
It's about the equivalent of like if you bought Fiji from Wish and then handed them a bunch of different like military stuff.
pretty much, yeah. It's it gives us the freedom to make rusty things without people bitching about it too much.
Yes.
But they still bitch, but
Oh yeah, they still do, but it's like, hey, this is a fictional nation. I can do whatever I want.
Exactly.
you shouldn't use that tank then. It's like, okay, you fuckwit.
But of course, my other thinking was, the HIDF is a Micro Machines podcast thing we have. It's our first time in the Musaru Cup, and the rules are you can do whatever you want to it as long as you can identify it as a Ural.
Yep.
So of course I'm going to represent the podcast in the only way I know how, doing something that is, sacred to us. So
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That's fantastic.
It looks good, Callum.
thank you. All right, Garrison, Mr. Group Build, you're up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Micro Machines Podcast North Africa Campaign Group Build. You got 2 weeks left, a little over 2 weeks to throw in your submissions for the North Africa Group Build. Here in about a week or so, we will be announcing the next group build, which is, you just listen to the podcast and some stuff on the Discord, you can kind of figure out what it is. But if you have anything, we have a recreational and a competition submission portion. So have a really cool prize at the end. Cannot wait to judge and see what you guys bring on to the table.
Yeah, because I can tell you now, with especially the competition builds, we are going to have a difficult time judging. There is some amazing stuff being put forward. Like,
Definitely.
you got Martin's bloody jumping the cliff SAS Jeep. You got Nick's CMP fuel truck, and Mikhail's Italian tank with a cut up German tank and all of that. So yeah, this is going to be
diorama is stunning.
This is going to be difficult as hell to judge, and I can't wait for it. So yeah,
Yep.
So get your submissions in, even if you've been even if you haven't known about the group build and you sort of fit within the time frame, go for it, see what happens. So yeah, so this group build will be coming to an end. So the next one will be group build number 5. Yeah.
6, I think.
Yeah, 6. Holy shit!
Yeah.
How time flies.
Right?
Jeez, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, group build number 6 will be coming up very soon. So you'll have another chance for prizes and all that. And we will be announcing the topic very soon. And I mean, you could probably, if you listen to this episode hard enough, you can probably guess what it's gonna be, but we won't say it directly. But if you've been listening, you can probably figure out what it's going to be. And I know Ian knows what the subject is, and he sounded pretty interested in it.
Here's a hint. Super
Thank
5.
Antarctica.
But yeah, so after the 1st of March, we'll have our usual group build announcement of the winners and stuff like that. But yeah, you got a couple of weeks, so get them in quick. And of course, after you've listened to us, we encourage you to go and listen to Ian's On the Bench. Go listen to the first 10 episodes. You'll love them.
Oh, yeah. You'll never listen again.
As we tell our own listeners and viewers, when they say, oh, we'll start from the beginning, it's no. Start from the latest one and work your way back.
Yes.
And once you get to
I was going to say, what number are you on now? What episode is this?
59.
Yeah, so start on number 60 or 70. And
Yeah. Yeah, wait, give it about another year or so. We might have figured our shit out. No guarantees, but so yeah, after this, go listen to On the Bench. You guys are up to episode. How many episodes?
180 something.
Yeah, they're a little bit further than us. And of course, you have also Scale Model Podcast, Am Show, Built Sideways, Brew Cutters Union, Just Making Conversation, Model Geeks, Model Insanity, Plastic Model Mojo, Plastic Posse, Small Subjects, Model Bike Podin. That's the Swedish one, all done in Swedish. Yep. So if you can understand Swedish, go listen to them. And of course, at the very end, we do our usual thing of thanking our Patreon supporters. That is Paul Gallagher, Lord Floki, which is Clint. He pays to be on the podcast. Idiot.
You guys need to start paying me. You keep asking me to be on here.
Bitch, we don't even get paid.
Hey, I give you $1 every month.
Oh, Mr.
That
Moneybags over here.
That dollar goes to Pinju.
As well as Robert Judson and Robert Brisbane. You guys are all awesome. And just a reminder, we will do an official announcement, but the 48 in 48 group build for Models for Heroes is coming up in the middle of March. I will be one of the hosts for that, as well as Ian. Ian's going to be.
Will be, yep.
Ian's done it before, so I'll be getting as much information on how the hell we're going to do this from him. And but
it's a load of fun. It's great fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, I tried to be part of it last year, but I had things that got in the way. A lot of people, you tell people, yeah, I'm going to go incommunicado this weekend. I'm going to spend like 48 hours just building models. For some reason, they take that as you're not doing anything. Yeah. And they go, oh, you're not doing anything, eh? It's like, no, I'm quite busy, actually.
Hey.
Yes. But we're going to do an announcement, an official one later on, but it'd be good to, we'll put it on the Facebook page. You guys can find out all about it. Join us. Having an MMP community turnout would be good. I mean, we'll be getting Garrison, Dennis, and probably Clint on during the live streams if that's all right with Ian and the others.
Fine with me, mate.
Sounds good.
Heck yeah.
And the last thing we have to say for this episode is a big, absolute big thanks to Ian from the On the Bench podcast for joining us this week. Hopefully this doesn't damage your reputation too much.
If your viewership drops because after this episode, we apologize in
We
advance.
take no responsibility.
I really enjoyed myself. Thanks for having me on, guys. Really had a good time.
Absolutely, mate. We'll definitely look at getting you on for another time. See if for a regular episode where if there's any vehicle from first, second, whatever world war, any vehicle you want to talk about, and your normal friends have stopped listening to you, you are more than welcome to come onto our podcast, and you can go for it as long as you want. That's our style here. If you've got something you're passionate and you want to talk about, and you want to relate it back to modelling and all that, you are absolutely welcome to come on and talk to your heart's content about it.
Sounds great.
All right. So the last thing for us to say is, if you are still listening and or watching to this episode of the Micro Machines podcast, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We will see you next week, where we'll talk about, I don't know, something else.
Something
right.
Dennis comes up with.
Oh yes, it's Dennis. He's finally going to turn back up on the podcast. He's been a bit MIA for the first part of the year, but we'll make sure he makes up for that. All right. Until then, we'll see you guys later.
Deuces, fellas.
Bye.